captured by communist tyranny, or indeed by any totalitarian system, that the spirit of man would find some way of breaking free from tyranny.
Is it possible to teach statecraft in the sense that Churchill applied it? Winston Churchill's daughter, Lady Soames, an accomplished biographer of her family, also knows how much the Churchill Centre will mean.
As Winston Churchill's daughter, I am delighted by the idea of the foundation of the Churchill Centre. It is the child of the International Churchill Society and will be an academic resource for the study not only of my father, Winston Churchill's life and character, but also of the times in which he lived and of the great problems of the world in his time and today. Not only will it keep green his memory, but I think even more important, focus the picture accurately.
The Churchill Centre is not a dream, it already exists. Founded by members of the International Churchill Society in the USA, Great Britain, Canada, and 14 other countries, it has sponsored 5 important academic meetings, including 2 major seminars, the nation's capital Churchill Symposia.
Churchill had the nerve and the stomach for conflict, should conflict be necessary, in his view. And that is indeed why he was a great war leader. But we need to beware of the distortion, which I think some critics of Churchill tend to impose on his life. That is the idea that he sought conflict for its own sake, that it was a kind of existential necessity for him, and that he sought war for the sake of war. This line of reasoning, I think, quickly degenerates into what I think of as the black legend of Churchill. I would say, though, that it's truer to say of Churchill that he never used force for its own sake, but always as a means to an end, and that while in almost every conflict, whether military or purely political, he sought victory, he was no less concerned to ensure that victory would be followed by a lasting and magnanimous settlement of the problems which had caused the conflict in the first place. Hence, he often quoted Macaulay's dictum that the finest combination in the world was power and mercy.
With this kind of background, the Churchill Centre is becoming an international scholarly resource indispensable to authors. One such author is Celia Sands, who has written a book on her grandfather's youth and wishes the centre had been in existence during her research.
If I'd had access to all the modern technology that the Churchill Centre will offer, my research would have been made a great deal easier. The Churchill Centre will provide an ideal environment for studying the life and teaching of Winston Churchill.
More than any other figure of the 20th century, Winston Churchill proved that one person can change history. In an age which cries for leaders, what better example is there of leadership? What role model is more likely to produce a future Churchill than Churchill himself? That is why I appeal to you, knowing that you too can make a difference. You can give us the tools to help us finish the job. You can share in Churchill's immortality by making a commitment to the Churchill Centre. At the end of his career, Winston Churchill left his colleagues with these words: "If the human race wishes to have a prolonged and indefinite period of material prosperity, they have only got to behave in a peaceful and helpful way toward one another, and science will do for them all that they wish and more than they can dream. Thus we may by patience, courage, and an orderly progression reach the shelter of a calmer and kindlier age. Withhold no sacrifice, grudge no toil, seek no sordid gain. fear no foe. All will be well. In a long life, I have come to the conclusion that there are certain eternal truths which must continue to prevail if successive generations are to enjoy the fruits of liberty and democracy. And as Churchill said, what is the sense of living if we cannot leave the world a better place for those who come after us? By promoting serious study of this great Anglo-American, the Churchill Centre can play a key role in preserving those truths, moving us all, in Churchill's words, to the broad, sunlit uplands.
We shall not fail or falter. We shall not weaken or tire. Give us the tools, and we will finish the job.